Good morning, boys and girls. So, the story that we have today is actually a true story about a little girl named Tracy. And so listen very carefully as we talk about and tell you the story of Tracy's terrifying jump. "Watch this," Todd yelled over the sound of the boat's loud roar. Tracy watched her older brother as he flew up into the air with his skis and jumped over the boat's wake. Tracy loved to watch her big brother water ski. She loved being with her family at the lake, but there was only one problem. Tracy didn't know how to swim. "Nice jump," Tracy's other brother Trevor shouted over his shoulder to Todd. "Doesn't that look like fun, Tracy?" He said. Trevor liked to drive the boat while Todd skied, and then they would trade places. He tugged on Tracy's life jacket. "When are you going to ski with us, Tracy?" "Oh, please, Trevor, can I go skiing today?" Trevor laughed. "As soon as you know how to swim, then you can go skiing with us." He pulled his hand over to his mouth and he shouted, "Todd, it's my turn." So before long, the boys headed back to the dock. "Oh, I hope Mom has lunch ready. I'm starving," Todd said as he shut off the engine. "Trevor, you tie us up. Come on, Tracy, I'll race you back to the house." Tracy knew that Todd was only pretending to run slowly so she could win, but he looked so funny that she laughed anyways. They all dropped their life jackets on the porch and went inside. As the screen door shut behind them, her brothers headed into the kitchen to eat, but Tracy stopped and she stared out of the water. If I learn how to swim today, I could go ski too, she thought, and that would surprise everyone. She slipped quietly out the door and headed back to the dock. First, she sat on the edge of the water and she kind of swished her feet in the water, and she thought, "Swimming isn't so hard," she thought. She'd seen her brothers do it all summer long. "Even the fish can do it," she said, "and I'm a lot bigger than they are, and I know I know how to hold my breath. I do it in the bathtub all the time." Then Tracy stood up and she jumped in the water. There was a loud splash and Trevor heard it through the kitchen window. "Wow, that must have been a big fish. Did you hear it, Tracy?" "Tracy? Tracy?" But Tracy wasn't there. By this time, Tracy had sank down to the very bottom of the lake, and her toes were touching the sand there. It wasn't really very deep there, but it was still deep enough that the water was over her head. She immediately began thrashing around, her arms and her legs, trying to remember what her brothers looked like when they were swimming. But it wasn't working. She didn't seem to be getting anywhere at all. The more she kicked and squirmed, the more she seemed to sink down until her feet touched the bottom again. "Oh, Jesus, please help me. I'm drowning." Kicking with all her might, she managed to get her head above the water again when she took a big gulp of air. And then she started to sink down again. Trevor looked out the screen door. Her life jacket's there, so she must be... "Oh no, Todd, go get Mom and Dad. I bet she jumped in the lake." And he ran quickly out the door. Tracy was still at the bottom of the lake. She could see the boat above her. "Oh, how am I going to get up to the top? Am I going to die?" She wanted to scream, "Jesus, save me," she prayed. Tracy was now terrified and beginning to panic. She didn't know how much longer she could hold her breath. No matter how much she kicked her arms and legs, she still wasn't able to get up to the top again. Trevor ran down to the dock shouting, "Tracy, Tracy, where are you?" He stared down, trying to see Tracy in the water, but he wasn't just staring. He was praying, "Oh, Jesus, please help me find Tracy. Don't let her drown. Help me find my sister. I hope I'm not too late." He was still praying as he jumped into the water. By now, Todd and Mom and Dad were racing down to the dock too, shouting, "Tracy! Trevor!" Tracy could hear them shouting, but it sounded so very far away. She flapped her arms louder, but got nowhere. Just when she thought she couldn't wait a second longer for air, she heard a loud splash, and Trevor was right there beside her. He grabbed her quickly, and they shot up to the surface of the water. Tracy gasped as she took a big breath of air as Todd's arms reached down and pulled her up to the dock. Trevor popped up right beside her. Her mom and dad were so relieved to see their precious little girl. "Honey, you scared us so much," they cried as they hugged her. "Why did you jump in the water all by yourself and without your life jacket?" I wanted to surprise everyone by learning how to swim," Tracy explained, shivering more from the fright than the cold. "I wanted to go swimming with Trevor and Todd this afternoon." So Mom knelt down and wrapped a towel around her, and Trevor just stared at her. Tracy, I didn't mean that you could ski with us today. It takes a long time to learn how to swim and be safe in the water. Dad put his arms around her, and the whole thankful family started back toward the house. Maybe this afternoon, Todd and I will start teaching you how to swim. And the first lesson is, don't go swimming alone, Trevor said emphatically. While they ate lunch, Tracy told them about the fish she saw underwater. And you should see how funny the boat looks from underneath, she said. Trevor shook his head. You know, I think your guardian angel was watching over you because I jumped in at the perfect spot right beside you in the water. Tracy smiled as she took another bite of her sandwich. I prayed for Jesus to save me, and he did. He sent my 2 brothers to help me, and he must love me an awful lot. And you know, boys and girls, Jesus does love us a lot. He sent his own son. God sent his own son, Jesus, to come down to the earth and save us while we were all drowning in sin. And even if we do go astray, we can always pray to Jesus, and he will hear us. And if it's his will, he will save us. And so next time you get in trouble, remember that. And listen to your parents, because they know how to keep you safe. You guys have a good, happy Sabbath and safe one.